Hello, teacher Preston here. So, in today's video, I'm going to be giving advice for new TEFL teachers who are going abroad to do contracts, who've just qualified, and things that they need to bear in mind. So, I've done 3 contracts so far. I've done 2 contracts in China, in 3rd tier cities, in the northeast, in Liaoning, which is the bottom of the Dong Bay, the northeast of China, what was Manchuria and Shandong, and one in Indonesia. There are things that you need to keep in mind when going into different countries. So the first thing is that interpretations of the law Okay, so interpretations of the law. What do I mean by that? In the West, in Europe, so the UK, France, Italy, also the US, Canada, a lot of the Western world, South Africa even, laws are fixed. So, and there's the pillars of the law, the core body of the law that stands, and parts of these individual laws will be amended or added to from time to time. But those pillars, or the core body of the laws, stays perpetually, universally, forever. It remains. Whereas in other countries, especially China, especially Indonesia, its law is a very fluid thing and is always open to interpretation. And especially in countries like Indonesia and China, where there were no rights really made for foreigners. They say rights, you have rights, but that's down to interpretation. Also, China and Indonesia are basically ethno-states. So you have one people, so this could come into problem. You could come into problems if you have problems with your contract. If your bosses don't perform or uphold the contract, I should say. These are very, very, this is something that you need to bear in mind. Also, in China, the law is that a Chinese person's, well, not the law, sort of unspoken, but that what a Chinese person said is held above what a foreigner says. So, and also the Chinese part of what the Chinese part of the contract versus the English part of the contract. If the Chinese part says one thing, then it is perceived as binding, whereas English is the second language which isn't binding. Things like that got to take into consideration. Happened to me last contract in Indonesia. I had issues with non-performance by my employer, so got to be aware. So what do we do about that? Read up on the law, be informed. Also, pays if you have anything that you need you don't understand, get a friend. If you have to, hire a lawyer, get them to look through the agreement. A lot of times things aren't cut and dry as they are in the West. Second thing, please start learning the language. Learn the language, sorry. I'll just write it. Start learning. So I know as English speakers, we sort of take for granted that other people speak our language and that kind of thing. But in a lot of countries in the world, that's not the case. And they're what I like to call English dead zones. Especially if you find yourself in Asia, Japan, rural China, forget it. The second and third tier cities, you're not going to find people that speak English. And a lot of times you're going to be put in a situation where you have to take care of yourself. And what I mean by that, I mean finding your way, getting taxis, being able to buy food, paying water bills, paying electricity, changing your internet into your own name. Different things, opening gym memberships, opening and closing bank accounts, although sometimes employers do help you with that. So learn the language. Very important. And not just speaking, try to learn reading and writing as well, because you're going to need it. Especially China, especially Russia. Those are countries that there's not much English. You go outside the big cities, that's it. So I'd say find out about the law, find out about your languages, start learning the languages. If you know you're going to teach, start 6 months in advance, start learning. Okay, third thing I'd say is do your research on the school. So there are a lot of dodgy jobs out there, a lot of them. My last contract was one. So do your research, check out the school, check out their website, speak to their fellow teachers as well. Do your due diligence. Also look at the contract. Check. The fourth thing is I'd say, like I said in my previous video, if you're not getting what you need, if you haven't got your work visa in maximum 3 months, if you're not getting your if you don't have a copy of your contract that you've asked for, it also, I'd say within a 4 month maximum 4 months. If you don't have a copy of your contract, I'll say a copy of contract. And visa. Copy of contract and your visa, and they're not giving you a timeline as to when you're going to get it back. They're not telling you. If you ask them and they keep stalling you and using excuses within a time period of 4 months, I'd say it's time to leave. Because in Asia, you don't want to get caught working illegally. China don't play around with that kind of thing. They imprison you. You can get deported. Not nice. Not nice. So, if you're not getting those things within 4 months and they can't tell you why, just go home. Rather, leave and walk away from a bad contract. Go home, regroup. You can always look for other jobs and stuff like that, even in China, but rather just walk away from that job. And yeah, be careful. So always check your law, find out about the laws in the country and how it will affect you. And always check your documents with a local friend or lawyer. Start learning the language. Do your research about who you're working for. And then within 4 months, if you haven't got a copy of your contract or your visa in your passport, I'd say leave. Rather just step away and regroup and find a better contract somewhere else. Thanks for joining this video. Bye bye and see you in my next video.